Emperor Vexthul's mandibles clicked in satisfaction as he gazed upon the holographic display showing the smoldering remains of Earth's major cities. The blue marble that had once teemed with the troublesome species called humans now bore the scars of his empire's final assault. Orbital bombardment platforms had reduced their capitals to ash, and his bioweapons had swept across their continents like a plague of extinction. "Herald," he commanded, his voice resonating through the crystalline chambers of his flagship. "Broadcast the declaration across all inhabited systems." The insectoid herald bowed low, its compound eyes gleaming. "Yes, Divine Emperor. The message shall reach every corner of the galaxy." As the transmission began, Vexthul allowed himself a moment of triumph. The humans had been a persistent thorn in his empire's expansion for 3 centuries. Their refusal to submit, their chaotic nature, and their inexplicable ability to adapt and survive had made them a symbol of resistance across dozens of worlds, but no more. "Citizens of the hegemony," the herald's voice carried across space, reaching billions of beings on thousands of worlds. "Let it be known that the species designated as human has been eradicated from the galaxy. Their homeworld burns. Their colonies are silent, and their defiant voices have been forever silenced. The age of resistance is over." On the bridge, Admiral Kreshitar nodded approvingly. "The Outer Rim colonies fell within hours, Divine Emperor. No survivors detected. The species that dared to teach rebellion to our subjects has finally learned the price of defiance." Vexthul's satisfaction was complete. For too long, human ideals of freedom and self-determination had infected other species. Their strange concept of democracy had spread like a virus, causing uprisings on 17 worlds. Their art, their stories, their very existence had become a beacon of hope for the oppressed. But beacons could be extinguished. 3 days passed in perfect silence from the human sectors. The Emperor's forces reported nothing but the quiet hum of space and the gentle radiation from cooling debris. The galaxy seemed to exhale in relief, or perhaps resignation. Then, on the 4th day, something impossible happened. It began as a whisper in the void, barely registering on the most sensitive instruments. A signal, weak but persistent, emanating from the direction of Earth's solar system. The communications officer on the bridge of Vexthul's flagship stared at her instruments in confusion. "Divine Emperor," she stammered, "I'm detecting a transmission from the Sol system." Vexthul's 4 eyes narrowed. "Impossible. Our scouts confirmed the complete sterilization of that sector." The signal grew stronger, and then, impossibly, it resolved into something that made the Emperor's blue blood run. Korosame was music, a haunting melody played on instruments that shouldn't exist anymore. But more than that, it was accompanied by voices, thousands of them, millions of them. The transmission clarified, and suddenly the bridge was filled with the sound of human voices singing in perfect harmony. But this wasn't just any song. It was "We Shall Overcome," the ancient human anthem of resistance, now sung by a choir that should have been impossible. "This is Earth calling," came a clear voice through the static. "This is Luna Base, Mars Colony, Titan Station, and the Centauri settlements. This is Europa Research Station, the Kepler colonies, and the Generation. Ships of Exodus Fleet 7, we are still here." Vexthul's mandibles began to tremble. "How? How?" The voice continued, calm and defiant. "You burned our cities, Emperor Vexthul. But humans haven't lived in just cities for 200 years. You poisoned our atmosphere, but we've been breathing recycled air in underground complexes since the first colony ships launched. You declared us extinct, but you forgot something crucial about humanity." Admiral Kreshitar frantically worked his console. "Divine Emperor, I'm detecting massive energy signatures throughout human space. Ships, thousands of ships, emerging from asteroid fields, gas giant shadows, even from inside planetary rings. We're like a virus," the human voice said, and Vexthul could hear the smile in it. "We adapt, we survive, we spread, and most importantly, we remember." The tactical display lit up like a constellation as ship after ship revealed itself. They weren't the sleek vessels the Empire was used to. These were cobbled together from asteroids built into the hulls of derelict stations, grown from the bones of dead worlds. They looked like junk, but the energy readings suggested otherwise. "You see, Your Imperial Majesty," the voice continued. "While you were busy conquering worlds and demanding submission, we were doing what humans do best. We were getting ready for the worst-case scenario. Every human settlement, every colony, every research station has had an evacuation plan and a contingency protocol since before we even met you." The singing grew louder, joined now by voices from across the galaxy. On world after world, the extinct humans were revealing themselves. Refugees who had been hidden by sympathetic aliens, terraforming teams working in the deep void, even sleeper cells embedded within the hegemony itself. "The thing about declaring a species extinct," the human continued, "is that you really should make sure you got all of them first." Vexthul watched in growing horror as the tactical display showed the true scope of humanity's survival. They hadn't just survived his genocide, they had used it. The scattered, desperate humans had united as never before, their shared loss forging them into something new. Something dangerous. "We learned something from your empire, Vexthul," the voice said. "We learned that the galaxy is big enough for all of us to thrive, or for all of us to fall. The choice is yours." The Emperor's fleet, so triumphant just hours before, now found itself surrounded by an enemy that should have been ash. The humans weren't attacking, not yet. They were just there, waiting, singing their impossible song of survival. "This is Earth calling all free peoples of the galaxy," the transmission concluded. "The age of resistance isn't over, it's just beginning." In his crystalline throne room, Emperor Vexthul realized he had made a fatal error. He had tried to kill an idea by killing the beings who carried it. But ideas, like humans, had a way of surviving the impossible. The song continued to echo. Across the stars and on 1,000 worlds, the oppressed began to sing along.